All right, what's going on, everyone? We're sitting here with our Super 73. We have the S2 model right here. And what we're gonna do right now is we're actually gonna replace the stock OEM seat that comes on this Hudson Blue. You actually get the nice tan seat on this Hudson Blue. It looks awesome. It's actually even a little bit better than what I originally thought it was gonna look like, based on the website photos and all the promotional material. Either way, I wanted to swap out the seat, just make it my own, something a little more custom. And what we got here is a product that we ended up finding on Etsy. It's from SuperSquad. What's neat is, let me bring this up a little closer to you guys so you guys can see that. You got your SuperSquad stitched right there on the back of the seat, which is nice, helps us keep our branding going. Actually, on the back of this seat, it says Super 73, which is nice. This bike has quite a bit of branding, so I'm not gonna miss seeing that go away. But either way, I wanted to go with something a little bit more stylish on this. Not to say that this seat is not stylish, but we're just gonna do a quick replacement here. This should be rather simple, 3 bolts. The only complicated part is going to be there is a little bit of a mess of wires directly under the seat of these S2s. So there is a plastic cover. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to go about swapping it. It's up to you if you want to do this a different way. Obviously, the easiest way would be just to get our screwdriver or our Allen wrench, whatever it is, right down between the cables, well enough where we can wedge it in there and get it nice and tight. But my thought is we're gonna have to take this cover off, so we're gonna get up close and personal and show you guys how to do that. First things first though, we gotta get this bike on its back. And to do that, just remember, whenever you're gonna flip this bike on its handlebars and its seat, you're just gonna wanna make sure everything on your handlebars is flipped over so you're not crushing anything. Only thing on this bike set up right now currently that I'm gonna have to be careful of is the actual controller. So, got my Allen wrench. First steps, we're gonna loosen the bolt that's holding our controller in place. We're just gonna flip it up a little bit so it's out of the way and we can lay this bike right on the handlebars. All right, hey everybody. So we're back under here. This is rather simple. We have 3 bolts. We have a bolt towards the top right here. We have the cover here, which is covering 2 bolts that are positioned right around the center of the 7 and the 3. For this side, I can actually see the bolt and I can remove it without removing this cover. On this side, completely covered by wires. And just to make sure I get in there and I get a good secured connection, I am gonna pop this cover up. And to do that, I'm actually just gonna take the zip tie that they use to secure this piece of plastic over these cables, and I'm gonna snip this so I can just move this to the side. And you can see there's a controller right in here that's controlling some of the components, most likely the hub here. Maybe it's some of the electronics for future items such as blinkers, but there's a lot of components and switches here. These wrap around your cables on the back side of them, and then you have the zip tie that just comes through here and goes through these. But getting to this is going to expose the extra bolt. I'm using an extender just so that I can come in along the side of the fender here and come under and get to the bolt. And I gotta tell you what, that bolt was barely screwed in. That was really easy to remove. We're using a 5/32 Allen tip. And one thing I will mention is that the positioning of the seat that Super 73 has this seat in is actually in the upmost position, meaning you can scoot this seat back probably a good 1 inch just to allow some space between your battery and the seat. All right, we're back. So, what did I do? I lifted the bike, I set the new seat under it, and I'm positioning it next to the bolt that's over by this controller because I wanted to leave that bolt in place without flipping the bike upside down. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna line up the bolt on this left-hand side of the seat, and I'm gonna at least get the screw started so that that piece stays in place and I don't have to worry about that one bolt. Something to notice, this seat has two different positions. Now what you can do is you can adjust it. Now that we have this left bolt actually secured, we don't have to worry about that bolt falling out, and we can make sure that we can get this positioned exactly how we want. What I'll do is I'll show you when you place the battery how much space that we end up with. So you could have it up there like that, where you got that little space, or you could have it back more like this. I like to take my bike chain and wrap it on this spot right here. So look at that. All right, so there you have it. Simple seat swap. All it took was a little bit of sweating in the Florida heat and 3 bolts in some weird locations. Really only 1 bolt in a weird location. The question I want to answer though is, was it necessary that I had to replace this seat? No. Really, it just came down to the looks, the style, how I want it to look. I felt like this was a little bit more cafe racer style. Just kind of darkened everything out. That seat popped just a little bit too much for me. I also thought this band was actually going to be white, but it's more of a off-white, like a manila color. So it's actually not going with those handlebars 100%, but either way, I like the look right now. I'm being very minimal, and I'm only slowly going to be making custom updates to this bike, as I do like it stock just the way it came. But this is overall, on a scale of 1 to 5 for do-it-yourself, this is a 1 being the easiest. One thing I will say, I do recommend one of these extenders right here that is bendable, and it'll actually let you get into weird tight spots. I use this when I'm working on my cars often. Harder to reach spots, weird angles, it will actually turn. So this actually came in handy for that 1 bolt that's by the controllers under the seat here. But only thing I gotta do now is just resecure the cables underneath the bike with the zip tie. I don't think I need to show you guys how to do that, but hope that was useful. Hope it was quick and easy, and you guys get yourselves a badass looking seat. Last thing I'll wrap up with, I wanted to wait till I was right around 100 miles of riding before I switched the seat so I could get a little bit of an experience on the stock seat and the comfort level. I will say this, on the longer rides, which I have no idea if this seat will be better. Supposedly it's a little bit of a thicker styrofoam inside the seat, but on a nice long 30-mile ride the other day where I ran this battery almost down, the last I'd say 25, so about a quarter of the ride towards the end, my ass was hurting. So I wasn't that crazy about the seat. This seat actually is a little bit wider towards the groin area. I don't know if that's gonna help or not with the pedaling. I would think it would actually get in the way a little bit more of the pedaling, but I'll give you guys an update on this SuperSquad. That's right, SuperSquad seat, after I put another 100 miles or so on it and actually do some long distance riding where I can compare it apples to apples. Till next time, till your next do-it-yourself video, keep it real, keep riding, and ride fast, but safe.